Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're back. I miss seeing you in person, but I'm glad we have these videos to share. Today I'm going to read a story that I think you're going to really enjoy called Library Mouse, A Friend's Tale. And this is written by Danielle Kirk. Okay, let's see what Library Mouse is all about. Sam was a library mouse. He lived in a little hole in the wall behind the children's reference books. Sam loved to read, and he loved to write too. Everyone loved his little books, but Sam was very shy, and no one at the library had ever met him. Aw, it's very shy. Once a week, the children at the library met for Writers and Illustrators Club. That is the people that write the book. The writer is the one that writes the book, and the illustrator is the person that draws all the great pictures. For our next project, said Miss Forrester, the librarian, I would like all of the boys and girls to work with a partner. One of you will be the author or the writer, and the other will be the illustrator. You will find out how teamwork can make a great book. At the end of the meeting, there was one child left standing by himself. Don't worry, Tom, said Miss Forrester. I'd be happy to work with you. She's a very nice librarian, isn't she? When night came, Sam, the library mouse, went to do some research for a story he was planning to write. All night long, he studied, jotting down things in his notebook. But as the sun rose, his eyelids grew heavy, and he fell asleep. Squeak! Sam awoke with a start as the children filed into the room. In his hurry to escape, he left his little notebook behind. Tom discovered it on the librarian's desk. Carefully, he opened the cover and turned the pages. Then he went to tug at Miss Forrester's sleeve. Some questions for the librarian. What's this? Said the librarian, flipping through the notebook. From the titles of the stories in here, I would guess this belongs to Sam, our mystery author. He's written so many books, and yet we've never had the pleasure of meeting him. Let's put it back on your desk, said Tom, so Sam will find it. And all of these books have things to do with mice. That's sort of interesting, isn't it? That night, Sam climbed onto the librarian's desk to look for his notebook. As he hurried back across the desk with his prize in his arms, the mouse stepped across an ink pad and left behind a trail of footprints. Tiny, tiny footprints. Good morning, Miss Forrester, said to Tom when he arrived early the next day. Did you bring some ideas for a story we can work on together? Not yet, said Tom. Then he noticed the inky marks on the librarian's desk and saw that Sam's notebook was gone. Impossible, he thought. When he was sure no one was looking, Tom got down on his hands and knees. He peered beneath the library shelves and around the baseboards, not quite certain what he was looking for. Suddenly, he saw a little hole in the wall. Now he knew why Sam always seemed to write about mice. Uh-oh. Tom tore a piece of cheese from the snack he had brought and left it by the opening. Oh no, Sam cried when he stepped out of his hole that night and saw the cheese. Who could have left it, he wondered. What do they want? Sam thought it might be best to leave the cheese alone and pretend he had never seen it. So he's a little nervous because he's realizing that somebody put the cheese there for him, so somebody knows he's there. Right? The next time Tom came to the library, he found the cheese looking dry and lonely, just where he'd left it. He replaced it with a peanut butter cracker. Maybe Sam will like this better, he thought. Indeed, when Sam awoke and smelled the cracker, it was all he could do not to gobble up the treat. Clearly, someone had discovered his hole. Sam hoped that if he ignored the food, whoever it was would go away and forget about him. He's nervous. He's a little scared. He doesn't realize that it's a friend, right? Tom's a friend. But Tom did not forget about Sam. He thought about writing a letter to the library mouse, but he wasn't sure what to say. Then he got an idea. He sat down and started to write a story. It was called The Shy One, and this is how it began. Once upon a time, there was someone who was very shy. His name was Sam. People seemed to make him nervous. The children at the library knew what Sam was like because of the books he wrote. But nobody really knew who Sam was, and that seemed to suit him just fine. Until one day... Sounds like a good story. When he finished writing, Tom folded up the paper and left it just outside the little hole in the wall. That night, Sam read the story from beginning to end. Tom had discovered the one thing Sam could not resist, a story. Sam grinned. He remembered Tom as a regular at the library. "I've got an idea," he said to himself, then went into his hole and got to work. When Tom arrived later that week for Writers and Illustrators Club, he felt a little guilty. He'd been so busy thinking about Sam that he'd forgotten to do his assignment. He got down on his hands and knees to look beneath the reference books. The paper he had left there was gone. Then he heard the librarian's voice. "Tom, what's this I found on my desk? I thought you decided not to work on a book this week, and then I found The Shy One, written by you and illustrated by Sam. I can't wait to share it with the group." So Sam helped Tom out by drawing the pictures in the book. Look at that. Oh no, thought Tom. The story he had written had been meant just for Sam to see. What if Sam had drawn a boy and a mouse? If Mrs. Forrester read it out loud, everyone would find out who Sam really was. And then what? Someone might try to hurt him or chase him away. "Please don't read the story, Mrs. Forrester," Tom pleaded. "You should be proud of your work," the librarian said kindly, "and how wonderful that you did a book together. I can't wait to hear more about who Sam really is." He's trying to be a good friend, right? And protect his little new friend, Sam. While everyone was seated, Mrs. Forrester held up the little book. She began to read. Once upon a time, there was someone who was very shy. His name was Sam. People seemed to make him nervous. The children at the library knew what Sam was like because of the books he wrote, but nobody really knew who Sam was, and that seemed to suit him just fine. Until one day someone discovered Sam's secret. It was a good thing he only wanted to be Sam's friend. "Come on," Sam said to Tom. "Let's do it together." And they did. Mrs. Forrester read the story from beginning to end, and Tom was amazed to see the pictures that Sam had drawn. The illustrations showed 2 mice instead of 1, and one of them was named Tom. "So tell us," said Mrs. Forrester, "just who is this Sam who writes so many of our books? I just have to ask. Is it you?" "Oh, no," answered Tom with a shy smile. "I just wrote the story. Sam is real, but he likes his privacy, so that's all I'm going to say. A friend knows how to keep a secret." That's really nice, isn't it? When the library was ready to close and Tom was sure that no one was watching, he bent to place something on the floor beneath the children's reference books. Sam awoke that night to find a note outside his hole. "Thanks, partner. Great work. Your friend, Tom." Sam sat down at his desk. He had an idea for his own story about friends. He couldn't wait for Tom to read it, and maybe this time his new friend would draw the pictures. Isn't that a nice story? So they're going to take turns making books, and sometimes Sam will write and Tom will draw the pictures, and sometimes it will be the other way around. Maybe you can make a book today with someone at your house, and maybe you can draw pictures and they can write it for you. You can see what you can do. It might be really fun to make a book. Some books are also just all pictures, so you could just make a picture book, whatever you like. Well, this story was about friends, so I thought we would end today by showing you some pictures of some friends. And then maybe you can draw a picture or find pictures of you with your friends, and you can show them to me when we come back to school. So here is a picture of Kelly when she was very, very little and one of her friends. Do you remember Miss Kelly? She is 2 in this picture, and she's 15 now, so she's much bigger. But that was one of her friends at a birthday party. Another picture I have of Kelly is at preschool. This is a picture of Kelly with her friends at preschool. And she's still friends with a lot of these kids, especially this little girl here. Her name's Violet. And even though they were 2 years old in this picture, and they're both 15 now, they are still good friends. Here's a picture of my daughter Chloe and her very first friend Adam. Chloe is probably 5 years old in this picture, and her friend Adam is about 5 too. They're around the same age. And now Adam is 22 years old, and actually they're 2 years apart. Adam is 22 years old now, and Chloe is 20. And they are still friends. Let's see, what else do we have? I have 2 more pictures for you. Here's a picture of Miss Danielle a long, long time ago. This was when I was in college, and my friend Christine and I went to Washington, D.C., and we were sitting outside the White House. And it's interesting because we were able to go very, very close, and you can't do that anymore. But we had a great time in Washington together, and Christine and I are still very good friends. And it's interesting because, remember the picture you just saw with my daughter Chloe and her friend Adam? This is Adam's mommy, and we're still all friends. And one last picture to show you. Oh, it's very heavy. Last picture is a picture of me with my best friend. And that is my best friend, Mr. Steve. This was the day that we got married. And you probably say, that doesn't look like Mr. Steve. He looks so different. Well, that's because Mr. Steve now has a beard and a mustache, and he didn't have that then. But this is a picture of myself with my best friend. All right, everybody. It was so good reading with you today and sharing some pictures. And I hope that I will see you soon. Miss you. Bye-bye for now.